Coming up today, heroes come in all forms, and in this story, a little boy's hero is his mama. Good morning, I'm Jessica Lovell, and welcome to the Morning Medical Update. When Jessica Meza gave birth to her baby boy, Brennan, she was stunned to learn her new baby was already in kidney failure. Not only that, but he had a rare condition called Eagle-Barrett syndrome, also known as Prune belly syndrome. His life was in danger. Little did she know at that moment, she held the key and the kidney to saving her son's life. And we are catching up with Jessica and her son Brennan this morning. Good morning. How are you both doing today?
Good morning.
Good. You're good. Okay, I'm so happy to have you both with us. We're going to get with you in just a moment. Here in studio with us is going to be Dr. Sean Coomer here in just a moment. He's the Chief Medical Officer with the health system. He's also Jessica's transplant surgeon. He's very busy, and he's going to be joining us here in just a second. But we also have Samantha Brenner, living organ transplant coordinator here at the health system. She helped to make this transplant happen. So great to have you with us.
Thank you.
It's always, I'm sure, great to just watch these stories happen and develop.
I love it.
I know you do. I know you do. Brennan. Big day for you, right?
Yeah.
Is it the last day of school?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What grade are you going to be in next year?
Third.
Third grade? That's big time.
Yeah.
What are your summer plans, Brennan? What are you going to do this summer?
I think I might go to a water park. I mean, we have a very busy summer, and we just want to have fun and
Brennan,
have a ball.
You have to have fun. That is your only job before you go to the third grade, is to go to the water park and have lots of fun. You have a very busy summer ahead, and I love to hear that. I want to talk to your mom, Jessica, because it's been nearly 3 years since you donated your kidney to your son, Brennan. How have you been doing since then?
I've been doing great. Recovery was a little bit difficult in the beginning. Oh, thank you, sweetie. But it's been easy to find a new normal, and not much has changed for me. So I keep doing what I'm doing, and yeah, I'm doing great. I feel good, and I think it's working because Brennan seems to be doing great. So we're very happy that we were able to have this opportunity.
Well, we really want to hear about your experience meeting Taylor Swift. We're going to hear about that in just a little bit. Very exciting. But first, our crew had the fascinating privilege to go into the OR when Dr. Coomer removed Jessica's kidney. Alexis Del Cid takes us back to that day.
You would expect someone about to have major surgery to feel all sorts of emotions, and that's true for 38-year-old Jessica Meza. But all of her emotions are focused on a little boy who at this moment is being prepped for his major surgery 4 miles away at Children's Mercy Hospital.
He's amazing. He's the most amazing little boy.
Jessica is donating her kidney to her 5-year-old son, Brennan.
Brennan's had a lot of anxiety regarding this, almost like whenever you mention transplant, he just kind of gets very frantic. So that's my thing, is I can't be there to comfort him. I can't be there to reassure him.
Brennan has Eagle-Barrett syndrome, commonly known as Prune belly syndrome. It means he was born without a full wall of stomach muscles. The syndrome comes with a host of other problems. Brennan was also born with stage 4 kidney disease. He was in kidney failure and on dialysis before he was even 1 year old. But 6 weeks ago, Jessica finally got the call she was approved to donate her kidney. It has been a very long and very dark road leading up to this day.
So I did a workup about 3 years ago, and they told me at the time that I needed to lose 20 pounds. So I thought, no problem. I ended up getting pregnant, and then I had a miscarriage. And then COVID happened, so everybody was gaining weight. And Brennan had a stroke at that time too, in June of 2020.
Jessica buckled down, ultimately losing 50 pounds.
It's a big gift for somebody to do this, and not every person would do this.
Transplant surgeon Dr. Sean Coomer leads the team removing Jessica's kidney.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest responsibilities and greatest honors at the same time.
The surgery takes about 2 hours from first cut to last stitch. But before he fully removes Mom's gift of life from her body, Dr. Coomer makes one final call to Brennan's team of doctors at Children's Mercy Hospital.
Are you good? You okay for me to proceed and get it all squared away and not cross plans?
Kidney out, Dr. Coomer delicately prepares it for little Brennan and his waiting surgical team. Before this surgery, we had asked Jessica and Dr. Coomer if they had any messages for Brennan, who will one day grow up and see this story.
Your mom saved your life, gave you life, saved your life, and continues to love you.
I wish I could have done it sooner, but I know that this was the perfect time.
Jessica, wow. What do you remember your emotions being when you woke up from surgery and you were told it was all a success?
Honestly, I don't think I really remember being very emotional. I just remember being in a lot of pain.
That makes sense. When was the first time you got to see Brennan post-surgery? Just what was that moment like?
I think it was 3 or 4 days after the surgery, because I spent a couple of days in the hospital myself. And then seeing him for the first time, he was already doing better. He looked better. He had more color. He seemed to be happy and adjusting very well. His recovery was a lot smoother than mine was. And so he was a kid ready to be a kid again. And yeah, all thumbs up. He did such a great job through it all, and the recovery for him was nothing.
I can tell. Thumbs up all the way. Brennan, how old are you now?
8.
8. All right. 8 and going into the third.
9.
Almost 9, going into the 3rd grade. Dr. Coomer, how often do you get to see a parent donating a kidney to their own child?
Well, luckily kidney disease in children is not extremely common, so it doesn't happen a ton. But we, in a center like this, and with our partnership with Children's Mercy, we see a lot of it. So we have parents that are very excited and very motivated to help their child.
I bet. Well, when we get to go in the OR with you and Dr. Schmidt, we get to see the kidney roll next door. That's kind of how you guys work in tandem there next door. And so it's waiting in the operating room right next to you. But in this case, who transported that kidney across town to Children's Mercy? How did that all work?
So we work with Midwest Transplant Network. They're a specialized group, an organ procurement organization. They help us with all types of donors, but they have specialized folks that will come in and package that kidney after we take it out and flush it, and they will package it, deliver it across town, and go directly in the operating room, and it gets open for the surgeon over there.
Ever since you guys did that story, I always say my favorite part was when you make that call in the middle of the surgery and say, hey, are you ready to go? You're talking to each other in the ORs across town. Brennan's care, of course, was handled at Children's Mercy, but Sam, did you get a chance to meet him at all pre-transplant?
I did not get to meet him, but I heard all about him, so I knew how special he was and how important he was to his mom. And I did get copies of their photo shoot, and I do still have them hanging at my desk.
A special bond they have. A big challenge in transplant, of course, is finding the donor. Jessica, naturally ready and willing to donate to her child, but it's not always that easy. Give us an idea of what Jessica had to do and then what you have to do as a coordinator in order to make all this happen.
Yeah, and like the video said, Jessica did have kind of a long road. She had to lose some weight and do some other things and had life happen. But she was definitely, dedicated, which a lot of parents are like that for their kids. We have to review their health history. They have to come in and do a lot of testing, labs, imaging, meet with all the doctors, the surgeon. We just have to make sure that they can live their life healthy with one kidney. And fortunately, usually parents are a good match since they share half their DNA with their child. So they were a good match, and she was, motivated to do anything she she had to do, to help him.
Now, this question may be best for a pediatric expert, but Dr. Coomer, can you explain what prune belly syndrome is and how it impacts kidney function?
Sure. Prune belly syndrome or Eagle-Barrett syndrome, it basically what happens is the congenital malformation of the abdominal musculature, but also has urogenital malformations, which can lead to kidney disease and can manifest obviously in the womb, and then obviously when born. Sometimes they can be more advanced or less advanced, just kind of depends on how it progresses.
Pretty rare?
Very rare.
Very rare. Jessica, you've had to become your own expert on prune belly syndrome even after kidney transplant. What kind of care does Brennan receive?
So at first, he was on dialysis. He's had regular lab draws since he was an infant. He has a port so that we can get those lab draws easily. Post-transplant, he is still unable to empty his bladder on his own, so we have to do intermittent cathing every 2 hours. He's had a feeding tube growing up. Thankfully, after transplant, he got a healthy appetite, so he eats everything by mouth. But we still use his feeding pump to hydrate him, because with that new kidney and intermittent cathing, we need to make sure that he has enough fluid at all times. So we use his pump to give him water overnight and sometimes during the day to help with that hydration.
Jessica, Dr. Coomer mentioned that it's pretty rare, but how many other prune belly families have you been able to meet, and what's it like hearing their stories?
We're actually very blessed to be able to have met quite a few prune belly families. When we found out about Brennan's condition as a baby, we found the Prune Belly Syndrome Network on Facebook, and it's an entire organization dedicated to research and connecting families with prune belly syndrome from all over the world. So we've gone to 2 different prune belly conferences in the last several years, and we've gotten to meet families from New Zealand and Australia and China, Africa, and of course across the United States. We've developed friendships with a lot of these people, and we've heard stories. One of my favorite stories is a guy who he's a little bit older than I am, and he's had 3 transplants in his life. And when he shares his story about what he went through as a boy dealing with prune belly and as a teenager and then a young adult, it's just very inspiring to know what Brennan may be going through and how he can overcome it. So yeah, we're fortunate to have a lot of prune belly family friends.
Oh, I bet it's really helpful and inspiring to connect with those families. If you are watching this morning, send us any questions you have about organ donation or prune belly syndrome. You can leave a comment on Facebook or YouTube. You can also email the Medical News Network. That information is right there on your screen. Jessica, Brennan, you all took a family trip to Disney World and Universal Studios last summer, thanks to Make-A-Wish. Jessica, what was your highlight of that trip?
Well, I am a huge Harry Potter fan, so my highlight was being able to go to Harry Potter World at Universal Studios. But apart from that, just being able to see the kids get to experience Disney World for the first time and Universal Studios for the first time. We haven't ever been on a family vacation like that. So seeing their excitement and the joy that it brought them was definitely a highlight.
Okay, Brennan, what was your very favorite part of that trip?
Well, I think the plane was kind of cool, and I loved it, and I was inspired. But I was playing on my games all the time. It's not like I got to see anything. I got to see everything, and I loved it.
Oh, I'm so glad you got to go. That sounds like so much fun. Hey, Brennan, I heard you got to meet someone pretty special. You had a special visitor over at the hospital this past Christmas. Tell us about meeting Taylor Swift.
Well, it was really cool, but my dad was like, oh man, I gotta call Jessica, and now he's like, hey, Taylor Swift is coming. Do you want to meet her? And my mom was like, oh my gosh, yes. And then she's like, sorry guys, I'm going to meet Taylor Swift. And everybody was like, go, go, go now. And she was driving and she got a call. And Taylor Swift is like, hi. And mommy was like, don't worry, I'm driving at the speed limit. And she was like, oh, don't do that.
He's telling my whole story.
He's doing a good job. So this was mom's wish, really, is what it was. So Jessica, let me ask you this question. What was it like for you to meet Taylor Swift?
It was very surreal. They say that you shouldn't meet your heroes, or you shouldn't meet, your celebrity people just because you'll get disappointed. I think it's the exact opposite with Taylor Swift. I think that when you meet her, you realize that she is everything that everybody has hoped her to be and so much more. Just extremely down to earth, very generous and kind and fun. And it was like talking to a best friend that I hadn't seen in a few years, just picking up where we left off, and so natural and easy and effortless.
Well, with all you've gone through, I'm glad you got to experience that as well. So good for you. Jessica, I have to ask though, why was Brennan back in the hospital this past December?
So he had a biopsy. They do regular biopsies to check for rejection in his kidney, and they did find some infection in his biopsy, and so he was just in the hospital to get it treated with the antibiotics. We were there for a short time, I think like 4 or 5 days. So just a little quick in and out to get some antibiotic treatments to get his kidney back to regular function.
How often does he get those biopsies?
So it was 6 months, and then a year, and then again at 2 years. So this was his 2-year. We did it a little bit late, but it was his 2-year biopsy.
And Jessica, what about you? Life any different with just one kidney?
Not really. I don't notice it very much. I'm definitely more conscious of my health habits, knowing that I only have one kidney, and my journey before having donated, just being overweight. So making sure that I'm conscious of the decisions that I make with my everyday health. And, I have a few more lab draws than I used to. But other than that, I'm able to go about my day as I normally would.
Well, we want to get to some comments and questions from our viewers this morning. Jill has a question. Will Brennan always need a catheter?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I mean, some of those malformations and issues, and the function of the bladder doesn't really return after transplantation, so that most likely will be the case.
Alexis has a question. Brennan is so cute. I could listen to him tell stories all day long. So precious that he still gives his mama kisses. Jessica, you are so strong, and Brennan is such a bright light. Question is from Denise: is Prune belly syndrome inherited?
I don't believe it is. It tends to be just kind of a freak thing that happens genetically.
Okay. Jeremy has a question for you, Brennan. What did it feel like? I've never had a transplant before. I think you're tougher and stronger than me. So what did it feel like?
Well, it basically felt like, when they put the kidney in, it wasn't so bad at first, but it started to hurt a little, and that's why my old one had an infection, so they gave me a new one, and they didn't want to give that other one to my mom. I mean, my mom knows I'm such a brave little boy.
You are very brave.
Yes, she does. Thank you for explaining that. That makes a lot of sense. Stuart wants to know, Jessica, how is Brennan's care handled when he's at school?
They actually have nurses and aides at school that help with Brennan's caffeine during the day. They help him hook him up to his feed. If he needs to take medications at school, then they will help him do that as well. So we're very fortunate to have that set in place where he has the care he needs at school with him.
Bonnie wants to know, does Brennan have any more surgeries in the future? Or is he done with surgeries, do you think?
It really depends. I mean, it's hard to predict that. There's possibilities. As Jessica mentioned, meeting some people in the Prune Belly Society or groups, that there was a patient that had 3 kidney transplants. So there's always a possibility. On average, living donation kidneys last 15, 18 years. But that's an average. Sometimes it's less than that. Sometimes it's more. But, you know, over his lifetime, he may require another surgery.
Eddie wants to know what happened to Brennan's other kidney when he got his mom's, and is there ever a problem with fitting an adult kidney into a child's body?
Yeah. So the native kidneys stay in the recipient. We usually don't take those out. Sometimes we do. It just depends. There are different thoughts about that process. But by and large, a lot of times now we leave them in. As far as problem fitting an adult kidney into a child's body, yes, sometimes. There are different things we have to do. Usually we sew kidneys into the leg vessels, and when they're smaller children with bigger kidneys, sometimes we sew it to the aorta and the vena cava. So those are all, it's just fitting the puzzle together.
Got it. Jessica, there's a question about, is there a kidney summer camp?
Yes. Camp Chimer is a camp sponsored by the National Kidney Foundation, and I believe it's for age 9 and older, 9 to 18, and it's all kidney patients. This year, Brennan turns 9 about a month after camp, so he's gotten the green light to go. And it'll be his first year at Camp Chimer, a real summer camp for the weekend where he gets all the care that he needs, nurses and doctors on staff there. So I don't have to be there to help out. He can be independent. And then he also gets to experience what summer camp is like with kids who go through the same medical things that he does.
Oh, that's great. Alexis says, Brennan, you are so smart and you do such a good job explaining what happened. She's curious if you might want to be a doctor when you get older. Or what do you want to be when you get older?
Well, I want to be a lot of things. A doctor, a teacher, a cook, and an astronaut, and a farmer. I mean, it's great that I want to be all these things, and I can do whatever I put my mind to, and I'm very creative. Maybe I want to be an artist. Maybe I want to be an astronaut. Maybe I want to be a teacher. Yeah, because all those things are really great, and I want to be them. And the question is, if I can be everything, if my mom thinks I'm great at all of these things, but just one.
I think that is the best thing I've heard in a long time. I was going to say all week, but I was going to say in a long time. And I'd like to know, why are you just a doctor? He's going to be all these things. And
well,
I'm
a father. I'm a husband.
Okay,
you
you're
know,
these. Okay, I need you to start a
things.
bigger list. Okay, you're just a surgeon, and you're
Not
just
an
the chief medical officer. You're not an astronaut.
Well, maybe
right.
someday.
I need you to step up your game. Okay. Okay, this is so fantastic. I've just loved having you both on and joining us again. Dr. Coomer, what is the big takeaway from this story? What do you want people to really get from it?
I think the most important thing is it's getting the word out there. Living donation is safe. It saves people's lives. It keeps patients off of dialysis. Dialysis is really rough on the body. It can advance cardiovascular disease. I mean, it just shortens people's lives. So living donation saves people's lives, and the donors are the heroes of this story. Mm-hmm. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Call Sam, get some more information, and it doesn't hurt to make a phone call and get educated.
Absolutely. So. Sam, what's the big takeaway?
Well, I always have to say that I have the best patients ever, people like Jessica who want to save people's lives. And as you can see, you can live a normal, healthy life with one kidney and also save someone's life like Brennan's.
Jessica, what's the big takeaway from you and your son's story?
I think, we, as a family, we've been through a lot. We've had a lot of hardships. We've dealt with a lot of pain, physical, emotional, but this was something that has changed our lives for the better. It allows Brennan to have a great quality of life. And so it's like all the struggles and hardships that we've gone through, it's all been worth it to get to this point where we can have a fulfilling life, and Brennan can grow up and be a kid that can do everything that all the other kids do, and have his dreams of being a doctor and a teacher and an astronaut and a cook and everything. And he's capable of anything, and it's all worth it.
Thank you so much for sharing. Brennan, we just think you're the best, and we're so glad you were with us today. What do you want to say?
Hey Jessica, thanks for that awesome message. I think it really made me feel good, and I'm glad I can be whatever I want, and you asked me all those things because I'm very happy to answer them and so glad to answer them.
Brennan, will you come back on our show again?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's a promise. That's a promise, okay? We'll see you.
Bye.
Yes, high five. I love it. I love it. Okay, have a wonderful summer, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Jessica, Brennan, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And thanks to all of our guests for being with us today. Thanks to our viewers for your great comments and your great questions, and we'll see you back here on Monday. Coming up tomorrow on the Morning Medical Update. A cancer diagnosis helps bring focus to what truly matters. For Jenny Nelson, it was the love of her life. I'm Jessica Lovell on the next Morning Medical Update. Living with stage 4 breast cancer. See the vow renewal ceremony that made Jenny feel like royalty, and the community of supporters letting her know she's loved. Tuesday at 8.
Subscribe to our Morning Medical Update and Open Mics with Dr. Stites podcast. Now everywhere podcasts are available.